world may still be processing the outcome of Mike Tyson's highly publicized clash with Jake Paul, but perhaps no one feels the sting quite like Buster Douglas. He's the man who first shocked the world by defeating Tyson in 1990, an underdog victory still hailed as one of the biggest upsets in boxing history.
Well, I didn't care about my eye, but I was complaining about that he was knocked out for 14 seconds. And that gave me a long count. I wasn't complaining, but it was the truth.
The long count.
So do it again and count. As soon as you hit the floor, it was 14 seconds. Well, look at it right now. You can look at it right now.
Now, over 30 years later, Douglas is watching as his former rival grapples with a different kind of defeat, a loss that stirred fierce debate in the boxing world. Reflecting on Tyson's loss to Jake Paul, Douglas seems both saddened and conflicted. Watching Mike in the ring that night, it wasn't easy, he admits. Mike and we have a history, and back in 1990, he was the most feared man in boxing. I knew his strength firsthand, knew what he was capable of. To see him in this match, struggling to keep up with a young guy who isn't even a seasoned pro, it was painful. I don't think anyone expected to see Mike in this position.
Right, but they don't say how many seconds he got. That referee was scared to death, like, oh my gosh, 1,100, 2,202. His count was longer than mine. He's talking that smack.
Douglas goes on to describe the Tyson he once knew, painting a picture of a man who was unmatched in his prime. People forget just how explosive Mike was. This man could end fights in seconds. He had this killer instinct, this speed and power that was rare. When you were in the ring with Mike Tyson, you weren't just fighting him, you were fighting the image of him, the fear, the aura. But time changes everything, and what I saw in that fight wasn't the Tyson I remember. He pauses, as though weighing his words carefully, before speaking again. There's a sadness to it. It feels like the sport is almost taking advantage of his legacy, putting him out there like this. When I fought Mike, we were in our primes. We trained, we pushed ourselves, and we were competing at the top of our game. This fight, though, it felt more like a spectacle than a true competition. Boxing, to me, is more than entertainment. It's about grit, discipline, and respect for the craft. Seeing Tyson lose in a fight that felt so commercialized, that hurts.
2-minute rounds. Tyson wanting to see more action. Wamoto, Evander Holyfield, you get the gist.
And everybody was saying last box.
Land this jab right there that really knocked Jake back. But they would see, the right hand grazes.
Douglas's disappointment isn't only with the outcome of the match, but with the larger trend he believes it represents. Boxing has always been about heart and skill, about proving yourself against the best. These days, we're seeing YouTube stars, social media personalities, people who haven't put in the same years of dedication. They're entering the ring and making millions, but where's the passion? Where's the respect for the craft? I feel like fights like this are erasing that legacy. Yet, despite his frustration,
to the returning legend. Nice body shot. Paul, 12 of 53, 23%. Tyson coming up in that fight with
That mouthpiece.
Oh, left hook. Triple left hook.
Right there, and knocked Mike off balance 2 times. And Mike was threw a good right to the body.
Douglas is sympathetic to Tyson's motivations. I get it. Mike loves the sport. It's in his blood. He's a fighter, and that's never going to change. And he's not the kind of guy to back down from a challenge, even if he knows it's going to be tough. But here's the thing. He's 58 years old. Physically, he's not the fighter he once was. And age isn't something you can beat, no matter how tough you are. I've been there. I know what it's like to watch your body slow down, to realize that you can't do what you used to do. It's not easy to accept.
Push Mike off balance again because Mike wasn't ready for it.
He's turning into a boxer.
Yep, good shot.
Oh, and again the left hook by Paul. Right hand lands for Paul.
Here we see Paul look down and come over with overhand right.
Wow.
Right on Tyson's nose.
Douglas then turns his attention to Jake Paul's performance, offering a mix of respect and critique. Jake Paul, I'll give him this. He played it smart. He kept his distance, used his footwork, didn't let Mike close in. But I don't know if that was out of respect for Mike, or because he knew he had to protect himself. Mike may be older, but he's still got that power. Jake knew what he was doing by avoiding a full-out brawl. At the same time, Douglas believes that the fight lacked the excitement and intensity that real boxing fans crave. There's something missing when you're watching a fight like this. It doesn't have the same energy. Back when Mike and I fought, there was real danger in the ring.
It was a good shot to the bitch. And then you see a left hook right there that was partially blocked by Mike's shoulder. But then when Mike landed a left hook on the neck, throwing a jab hook right hand, followed by a hook.
We were both pushing each other to the limit. This fight didn't have that edge. Jake was cautious, and Mike was struggling. It was more like they were going through the motions than really fighting. The script leak that circulated online before the fight didn't just raise eyebrows. It added fuel to an already controversial event, leaving many fans and fighters feeling betrayed. For Buster Douglas, the notion that a boxing match could be staged with a preset outcome struck a nerve, cutting to the very core of what he believes boxing stands for. When I heard about that script, it was a blow, he says, his voice heavy with disappointment. The idea that boxing matches might be pre-planned, that outcomes could be set before anyone even steps into the ring. That's not boxing. That's not what this sport is about. To me, that's like spitting on the years of training, the sacrifices, the blood and sweat that real fighters put into this. He takes a moment, gathering his thoughts, clearly affected by what he considers a troubling trend in the sport he loves. Look, boxing has always been a brutal, beautiful sport. It's not about putting on a show. It's about proving yourself, about stepping into that ring and knowing that anything can happen. You're facing someone who's trained just as hard, someone who's giving everything they've got to try to beat you. There's a real respect in that, a mutual understanding that you're both laying it all on the line. A script? That's like throwing all of that out the window. It's saying that none of it matters, that the outcome is just a formality, a part of the performance. That isn't boxing, that's theater. Douglas goes on to explain how the culture of boxing was different in his day and why the concept of a scripted fight feels like a betrayal to him. When I was coming up, there was a sacredness to stepping into the ring. We fought for pride, for legacy, for something bigger than just fame or money. We fought because we wanted to be the best, and we knew that meant taking risks, facing people who could knock you out, and giving it everything you had. You didn't know what would happen in there, and that's what made it real. That's what made it exciting. But a script? That's just robbing the sport of its heart and soul. He shakes his head, visibly troubled. The script leak is a sign of the times. Yes. Nowadays, people just want entertainment. They want quick thrills, viral moments. But they don't want to see the hard work, the grind, the real risk that fighters put themselves through. It's like they've forgotten what boxing truly is, a test of skill, endurance, and willpower. When you take away that risk, when you already know how it's going to end, you take away the very essence of the sport. It's disrespectful to everyone who's ever set foot in the ring with no guarantees, knowing they could win or lose, but willing to face that uncertainty.
Is this possibly the last time for you?
I don't think so.
You've got more in you. What comes to mind?
Well, I don't know. Maybe his brother.
You want to fight Logan? Logan, I think he said you might be next.
Douglas's voice grows stronger, more impassioned, as he continues. I can't imagine training for months, pushing yourself to the absolute limit, knowing that every punch, every drill, every drop of sweat could be the difference between victory and defeat, only to find out the fight's already been decided. I mean, what's the point of all that sacrifice if the ending's already written? That's not what any real fighter signs up for. A script might make for good TV, but it doesn't make a real fighter. It doesn't make a real fight. For Douglas, the leaked script isn't just an unfortunate twist in Tyson's story. It's an insult to every fighter who's ever stepped into the ring and given everything they have. Imagine if they told me, back in Tokyo, that my fight with Tyson was going to end a certain way. All the pain, the self-doubt, the courage it took to face him, it would have meant nothing. The thrill of that fight was in not knowing, in testing myself against someone who was supposed to be unbeatable. That's the essence of boxing, that anything can happen, that you have to earn every second of it. When you script that, you strip the fight of its soul. He pauses, looking down, clearly wrestling with the emotions stirred up by the idea. I know some people think it's just entertainment, that it's no big deal. But to those of us who spent years of our lives training, fighting, sacrificing so much, our health, our time, sometimes even our futures, it is a big deal. It's taking something real, something raw, and turning it into a hollow show. That script, it's not just about Tyson or Paul. It's about what boxing is turning into. And it's a sad thing to see. Douglas's words carry the weight of experience. A lifetime spent in the ring where every moment was a test, every outcome uncertain. The idea of scripting a fight feels, to him, like stripping away the very integrity of the sport. People like to say boxing is just two people punching each other, but it's so much more than that. It's about courage, about pushing yourself beyond your limits. It's about respect for the opponent and respect for the craft. When you take that away, when you make it something prepackaged, you lose what makes boxing special. And I worry that if things keep going this way, we're going to lose the sport altogether. He looks away, visibly disturbed by the thought. I hope this doesn't become the norm. I really do, because boxing deserves better. Mike deserves better. Every fighter who's ever stepped into that ring deserves better. Ultimately, Douglas hopes that this fight will be Tyson's last venture into these kinds of matches. Mike has nothing left to prove. He's a legend. His place in history is set. Getting back in the ring, especially at his age, it doesn't serve him or the sport. He's given everything to boxing, and I think he's earned the right to walk away with dignity. He doesn't need to risk his health, his legacy, just for a few more minutes in the ring. As he wraps up his thoughts, Douglas shares a heartfelt message for his old rival. Mike, you're one of the greatest. You don't need to be out there trying to prove that to anyone anymore. The real fans, the ones who know what you did for this sport, they'll never forget. You're Iron Mike. Don't let these people turn you into a sideshow. You've done your part. Now let yourself enjoy the respect and legacy you've earned. For fans of both Tyson and Douglas, his words are a sobering reminder of the fleeting nature of athletic greatness and the toll it can take on those who try to hold on to it. Douglas's message resonates as both a call for Tyson to protect his legacy and a caution to a sport that seems increasingly willing to blur the line between authentic competition and showmanship. Okay guys, for the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and actions, subscribe to Knockout Updates and turn on notifications to never miss out on quality content, and check out our other videos. Until next time, peace out.